Hey everyone, welcome to this video. Today we're going to show you guys how to swap our radiator. Now, this isn't a usual job you're going to do, but if you've been following our adventures, then you know that our radiator cracked a while ago going up a hill, and well, we had to change it. We've been driving around on a patched one, so now it's time that Zippy finally gets his new part. So before you start working on taking out the radiator, you're going to want to disconnect the negative battery terminal, which is under the, so this is facing forward, it's under the left side, which is usually, in Australia, it's the passenger side. Just press down on this red button and you pull it off. There you go, and that's the stud. Now make sure those two don't touch, because where the radiator is, there's a couple of ABS sensors, the airbags, so you don't want the airbags to come out just because you've made one wrong move with the radiator. To take this front grille off, you just have to remove the 4 screws here with a Torx 27 bit. This is the last one, and then you pretty much just have to pull it up and it comes right off. And don't lose these screws because they're hard to replace. Alright, so then you just grab it here, pull up, and it all just comes out. And now you have access to your radiator and your AC cooler. So now, before we take all the lines off the radiator, we'll take off the lower radiator hose just to drain the coolant again. You should either do a coolant flush, which is in another video, before you put in a new radiator, so you don't have old coolant gunk it up right away. Or if you have new coolant in there, you want to catch it as much as possible in a very clean container so you can reuse it. And it's draining out into the bucket. So first things first, you're going to take the cover off the front. So this little shield right here just clips off. Doesn't really have much purpose, it keeps moving, but yeah. Then you're going to start taking the radiator hoses off. So you need some vice grips for these. Here's some multi-grips. Just squeeze these together. And twist. There it goes. One. You'll also need to take off this hose and the bottom hose. This is a small 8mm hose and this is a 12mm I think hose. They both have these quick clamps that you just use your multi-grips to pull and pull off. The one at the bottom is a bit more challenging to get to because it's in a pretty tight space. Your last order of business is taking off the lower radiator hose by also undoing this clip right here, and then you can just pull that out. To take off the fan shroud, you just take a little flathead screwdriver, you stick it on here, like this, you push in, and at the same time you lift up on the fan shroud, so it's just clipped in there pretty much. You push it in there until, there it goes, that's free. Do the other side, same thing, push in here, pull up on the fan shroud. That's free. Just lift it up, place it a bit further back so you have some room to get to the radiator itself right here. Now if you have an automatic transmission, these are your cooler lines for your automatic transmission fluid, and you don't want to strip these threads on the lines when you take these off. So I've sprayed these 3 times with WD-40. This one on on the top and one on the bottom. And you definitely want to make sure you got enough penetrating fluid in there. Now I'm using a shifting spanner to slowly thread off this cooling line for the automatic transmission fluid. It's a bit of a tight squeeze here with everything in here, but just a normal shifting spanner works, and it actually came off without any big problems. I did soak it with WD-40 3 times since yesterday, so yeah, should be good. Now to take off your automatic transmission cooler lines, you first of all take the thread here, just turn it out until this whole thing is out, loose pretty much, and then you rotate this till you see these 2 clips right here. You take one of these clips with a screwdriver and the other one with a nail, or if you have another screwdriver, and you just pull this clip off. This is all stuck under this little shroud or housing right here. It's usually on there like that. You just pull this back. It shows you this clip, which you just take off, and now you can slide this whole thing off. There you go. Now your automatic transmission cooler line is loose. And you have this as a spare, which that doesn't look very nice anymore. Your intercooler is connected to the bottom of your radiator. So the bottom of the radiator is held in right here where the ratchet's at, and right here, and it's clipped in at the top right there and right there. So you press it together here with pliers, and you just gently pull here, and it pretty much just comes right back. I'll try and show you the other side. So since the other side's loose already, this one should just pop right back. So I'm just gonna give it a little squeeze, and there we go. It's now popped back, as you can see. See how the clips are back there? Which means this whole assembly is loose now. See how it moves? To take off your coolant reservoir, you use a Torx 30. Unscrew this bolt, and this whole reservoir will just lift up, and you can lay it down wherever you need it. Now the last thing you're gonna do is take the evaporator or condenser of the AC, because it's actually hooked into the radiator with just pretty much like sits in there on the bottom. It has a clip on the top, so these clips right here. Once you have this radiator loose this way, so you've unclipped it from this housing here, you can just pretty much push this in, this clip, push it in that like towards the radiator, and then if you pull up on this side, so you pull up here, you'll actually feel it go past the clip, and then you just lift the whole thing up a bit, so it's out of the tracks that it goes into down there and down here. So here you actually see the track very well. So if you lift this up now, before you pull the radiator, make sure you unclipped the AC condenser, and same on this side, so you can take it out and you don't rip off these AC lines, which is bad because then you need a new condenser and new lines, and you need to get the system refilled, and it's a big pain behind. The whole radiator actually sits on this cylindrical little piece right here, and it has a cylindrical lip that it sits in, and at the same time right here there's a little like flat platform where if you unclip the radiator at the top and you like bend it forward this way, so out this way, then you can take this lip over the platform that's made for it in the whole mounting frame here, and you, as soon as that lip clears this mounting frame lip, you can actually pull the whole thing up in that direction. And just make sure you, like, we tied it down here, just make sure, because this is loose now, you don't want it to just hang down and accidentally rip your lines right there. So just tie it there, and now that the radiator is loose, you actually actually have to, so there's these little platforms right here. They actually have to come out past the mount, and then you can just pull it right out. So it goes like that. Get it out past the mount, and you can just pull it out. The radiator just comes out. You gotta do that on the other side as well. So after lots and lots of wiggling and stuff, it's gotten this far. So now it's just a matter of pulling it out correctly without breaking anything else. Your AC condenser lines. As a tip, disconnect this side first from the bottom. Like pull that out first and then do the other side. That way you can get you better leverage. And yeah, I'm gonna finish pulling this out now. Ah, we finally got it out. It's definitely a good idea to do this job with two people. So you have one person here on this end pulling it this way, so you can get it past the condenser lines out on this side. And then yeah, it's a lot of muscling and not being nice to your car. So just as a little tip, if you take off these two screws right here, you can actually pull this whole frame forward a bit. That can help you get your radiator in with your fan shroud, or else you won't have enough space. It's really tight in here. Connect your two intercooler screws down there before you clip the radiator in up here, and then attach your lines at as the last step. So to get this bottom screw in, you just tilt everything forward, stick the intercooler on from the bottom, and then you stick the screw through. When you lifted the AC condenser up a bit, stick the screw through and screw it in. And then this side's pretty easy, you just kind of screw it in there. Bring in the last screw to connect the intercooler. When everything's connected, you clip the whole assembly through here. So just give it a nice push here, and then you'll see the clips pop out right there. Same on the other side. And there it is. When you have the radiator with your shroud back in, put your transmission cooler lines on first, stick them into this nut that's on the radiator, and clip them in with the clips that come with it. And then, after you've done this one and the bottom one, connect your hoses, and then connect the upper radiator hose, and then connect the lower radiator hose. Then you're going to want to fill everything with distilled water, so in case you have a leak, you're not letting coolant drain anywhere, and you're not wasting money that is just going to pretty much be on the street. While you're at it, since your water pump is right there, if you have all of this out, change it just as preventative maintenance. When you fill up your radiator, you fill up this water, and then you just squeeze the radiator lines a bit, and you'll see a bit of bubbles come out here. If you squeeze all your lines, you should get most of the bubbles out. Then leave the cap off, turn the car on, and you'll see the rest of the bubbles should come out. Put the cap on, go for a drive until the thermostat opens, so the coolant has to reach its proper temperature. And then you can recheck the level, and after that you should be good. If you start losing coolant again, like majorly, then you have a leak somewhere and you have to check where it is. So now the car is running, everything is bubbled out. Now I can put on the radiator cap, put the reservoir cap, and go for a drive. So while the engine's running, check for leaks anywhere. So check the thermostat for leaks, check any of the hose lines here for leaks, here for leaks. And if you get under the car, check where the water pump is if there's any leaks coming and dripping down there.
We're glad it's finally done. If you liked this video, feel free to give us a like, subscribe or follow us on Instagram at jp_adventures19. Stay tuned for more videos!